On to race number 5 then. The 5th is the first of our feature races. This is La French May Trophy, 1,800 metres. It's a Class 2 contest, a good one. Prawn Barber dropping out of Group 3 company, right up behind Exultant last time out. Helene Charisma. Well, his last start was in the Gold Cup. He finished last behind Time Out. Doyeni dropping in class as well. He was behind Exultant. Literature, 4-time winner over the 1650. Sharp Sailors on a hat-trick, goes up in class. Gorgeous King on a hat-trick as well. We haven't seen him since November, though. Down to Winning Faith. Course and distance for the first time. 3 wins under his belt this season. That is it. A field of 9 here for the trophy race, or one of the 2. We've made our way to the touchscreen to have a look at this one, John. 1,800 metres the trip. Potential for some fun and games, I suppose, but Circuit Glory may well be the one in front.
Yeah, I was surprised he wasn't a bit more forward than he was last time out. I was a bit disappointed with him making my best bet, and he got beat. You tend to remember these things. But as far as some of the others go in this race, well, Prawn Barbar's got a pretty good go-forward profile. I expect to see him get into a pretty good early position, and he probably might even take Circuit Glory on. And Gorgeous King trialled really well at Happy Valley. He's never actually run in a race itself at the Valley, but I can see him going quite well as well, certainly get into a prominent position.
Yeah, this is a fascinating contest, this one, Brett. What have they been looking like in the morning?
Well, let's have a look and start off with a couple of the horses that we haven't seen for a while. And firstly, we're going to start with Helene Charisma. Now, he hasn't been to the races for 3 months, hasn't raced since the end of February. Neil Callan's done quite a lot of work with the horse. He will take the ride. He's had a lot of trials leading in, including one over a mile at Chartin, one at 1,700 at the Valley. So be interested to hear what Jenny has to say. Gorgeous King hasn't raced since early November. I've looked through the vet's report. There's nothing there. He's just had a break, a freshen up. He doesn't look to have lost much. Tony Millard's got him spot on body weight-wise, had a number of trials leading in, and Winning Faith obviously stepped up into Class 2 last start, pulled up lame the following day, but he's been moving well in the morning since and obviously strung a whole heap of wins together prior to that last start disappointment.
He certainly did. All right, it's, plenty of clues to take on board here. We'll start off with Prawn Barber and Doyeni. Now, this isn't the run behind Exultant. We're going back a start here for Prawn Barber.
Yeah, they were a little bit far behind Exultant on that occasion, Andrew, so we went back one earlier. But this was a good, strong, staying test. Interesting, Prawn Barber really had a torrid run the next start, but chasing Exultant, didn't he, John? And Doyeni's been finding some form.
He has. I'd probably prefer Doyeni at Chartin. Prawn Barber's only had a couple of runs at Happy Valley as well, which surprised me a little bit, but he's got a good draw. He'd probably get into a reasonable position, and he's been running pretty consistently. I haven't managed to sneak him in the numbers, but I wouldn't be surprised if he managed to get in there somewhere.
I was a little worried about Prawn Barber's had a great season. Just that last start chasing Exultant, that was a real gut buster for him, and here he is with top weight, so thought that might anchor him a little bit when the whips are cracking. All
right, well, Helene Charisma's had a couple of months off the track. We know he's got the Group 1 form as well. Can it show through on Wednesday night? Let's find out with Neil Callan.
Neil, Helene Charisma, former Group 1 winner in France. You're jumping on for the first time. He's yet to win here in Hong Kong. Is this a ride you've been chasing, knowing what potential he's got?
Well, I chased him last season when I thought he kind of threw away a couple of Group 3s. But look, the ability's certainly there, and look, John's tinkered around with him a little bit since he's dropped in rating, and I was trying to help John out, actually trying to pass his trials at Chartin, but you know the track has been quite firm recently, so it's been a little bit tough to do. But he went to the Valley last time, passed with flying colours, and hopefully that's the key to him, is going there and having a race suitable for him.
You've done a bit of work with him in the mornings, as you mentioned, in those trials, and also track work. What sort of feel does he give you?
Oh, look, the ability's there. It's just a little bit in his mind. You know, John's tinkered around with blinkers and what have you, but I galloped him down the 1800 with a pair of blinkers on the other morning, and if he goes as well as he did down there in the race, well, then he's going to be tough to beat. All
right, Helene Charisma, you haven't got him in the numbers, but if he won, you could be might be some hindsight there.
Well, absolutely. Like has been said before, he's a Group 1 winner, so he's clearly got plenty of ability. I can't have him in, but I still think there might be a race or two for him at some point in Hong Kong.
He's been untrustworthy, hasn't he? We know he's had issues along the way, and it's a bit like a big dessert bar for Neil, isn't it? He's got so many sweet choices in this race. He's gone with Helene Charisma. That's a good push in itself. I'm going to play him safe and put him in for 4th, because I know he's capable, but yeah, you've got to take him with a pinch of salt.
OK, all right. Well, another horse to have a look at is Sharp Sailor. He's won his last 2. gets back up into Class 2. He's been here before without success, but he comes here in form.
I don't know whether Danny Schumer mentioned before he's closing in on 50 winners. This is another horse he's got going particularly well in the stable. He has won his last 2. You've touched on Andrew. He's had 2 goes in this grade in the past. Hasn't been able to match it. But the horse that runs second there, Victory Boys, won his last start. Acclaim Light finished 4th. He won his next start. So it reads well.
Certainly does. His last 2 runs over 1800, excellent. He's gone up 13 ratings points. But in that race we saw as well, he made a bit of a sort of not mid-race move, but kind of end of the final bend there. And it was a terrific effort. And obviously at some point the handicapper's going to get him. But I've got him in the numbers. I think he'll run well.
The only thing I had against him, he had 2 good draws his last 2, where he's drawn 9, so it's a touch tricky from that position.
All right, the outsider of the field here currently is Pikachu at $13. It's a wide-open contest, which includes Gorgeous King, who returns to the track. He's been off since November.
He has had some issues over his career. This starts 16 for a 6-year-old. This is a trial from him over the mile at Shah 10. He's had another trial after this in which he finished 3rd. He's laying up alongside of the Golden Age there. Some other quality horses around. He's won his last 2. His fresh record is actually poor. He's had 4 starts. First up, hasn't been able to feature. Season's Bloom goes on to win that trial. Oh, I didn't know what to do with him, to be honest, Andrew, but he's won his last 2 and he's a horse, I think, that's still got a few rating points in hand, so I'm going to sneak him into the tips, another safety card scenario.
I've got him in on top. I thought he trialled very well at Happy Valley back on the 5th of May as well. So, yeah, I think he's got a big chance. He's very interesting. His form looks pretty good now in the context of what's happened.
And in another shock, I've got him on top as well. But, Brett, who's on top for you?
Well, that trial we saw from him was at Shah 10, and following that he did go to the Valley and finish 3rd, as you've mentioned. I've got Circuit Glory. I'm going to go with the couple down the bottom of the lighter weight. Circuit Glory with 116 pound. Forget his last start at Shah 10. Go off the one behind Star Majestic. We saw it earlier. Gorgeous King. I know you guys are going to talk about him shortly. I've always had time for Doyenne. I'm a bit like John. I think Shah 10's probably a better track for him, but he's going really well at the moment. And Helene Charisma has clearly got the class in this race, but he's also got his tricks. 8, 7, 3 and 2.
Yeah, it's a trappy little race from a betting perspective, but there are quite a few with chances, and I think you get a decent run from him for your money with Gorgeous King. He's got a good draw as well. I think he's primed to go well here, so I've got him on top. But Sharp Sailor, yes, he's gone up quite a bit in the weight, but he's a real 1,800-metre specialist, and I think he's got every chance of running well. Winning Faith, I think he can safely ignore his last run. He did pull up lame. Prior to that, he'd racked up a hat-trick here over the 1650, but on breeding, he'll have no problem with the 1,800 whatsoever. And Literature, again, he's been in good form this season. Keith Young aboard, taking off the £2. Gate 5, not too bad. He's been 9th on his only start at 1,800, but I think that was quite a long time ago. I think he's running pretty well now, and I think he's good for the minors as well. But there are 1 or 2 others who've got legitimate chances as well.
I think they've all got chances. Gorgeous King on top. You throw in my numbers as well. The only one we haven't included is Pikachu. And he's bobbed up at a big price in the past.
Sneak him in if you can.
There you go. All right, that is La French May Trophy race at number 5. Still the France Gallop Cup to come. Short break first, back after this.